Good YouTube, Quinn Wade. Back at it again while I'm watching a basketball game. I had to stop what I was doing to give y'all that analysis of the Spurs acquiring De'Aaron Fox and the Kings receive Zach LaVine. I think this trade makes a whole lot of sense for the Kings because if you picked up DeMar DeRozan, you still have Demonis Sabonis, you still got Keon Ellis and Keegan Murray. Why would you not continue to play out this season and try to get another star so you can stay relevant in the Western Conference because you're 500 and it's going to take a lot to lose when you have that much talent still on your roster. So getting Zach LaVine gives you a guy that can score the basketball and gives you another ball handler slash 3-point shooter while still helping you stay competitive in the Western Conference. And he's on the same level as De'Aaron Fox, so you didn't downgrade talent-wise that much. Now, De'Aaron Fox was never really known as a winning player in the NBA outside of one season, and same with Zach LaVine. He did it in Chicago, couldn't sustain it, but I know he would love to play with a roster like this because he already played with DeMar DeRozan in Chicago with that team that made it to the playoffs, and they actually did beat the Bucks one game. I know that's not the greatest thing, it's not the best thing ever, but they brought some hope to Chicago together, and they already can help this team that fits kind of the same like that roster did. But they're not a championship team, and the Spurs are trying to fix their season. They went all in while Wemby is on his rookie contract, and he's still developing, he's still growing, he's still learning. You didn't really lose anything crazy talent-wise to acquire De'Aaron Fox. And to be honest, De'Aaron Fox is one of the best guards in the league. He can get to the basket, he can pull up on you, he can get to the free throw line, he's a transition blur, he's a willing defender, he's willing to get learning experiences, he's humble, he's down to earth, he's coachable. And I think he made the right decision. I mean, there's no disrespect to Sabonis, who is one of the best big men in the world, but Wembanyama is one of the greatest potential players ever if he can stay healthy and if he can continue to get better offensively because his defense is already elite. Most people are already saying that he's going to be Defensive Player of the Year this season. That's how good the ceiling for this team can be. And a lot of people say, no, just wait till free agency and try to get Fox. You can try to win now. I mean, y'all ain't that far from being a 500 team. And Fox is leaving the 500 team to play with a team that has more athleticism, more scoring, more depth, and a superstar player and an all-star, which is Victor Wembanyama. So I'm going to tell you all the details and continue to ramble on after that. The Spurs have acquired De'Aaron Fox from the Sacramento Kings as part of a 3-team trade involving the Chicago Bulls. The Kings will acquire LaVine as well as City in 3 first-round picks. The picks are 2025 via Charlotte, 2027 via Spurs, and 2031 via Minnesota. Now, we don't know who these players are going to be. We don't know why these picks are going to be great or bad yet because these teams are still playing out their seasons and these picks are kind of far in the future. And 2025 ain't the deepest draft unless you get one of the top 3 players, probably top 5 players, in my personal opinion, which none of these teams are losing enough to be able to do anyway. And Charlotte pick is going to be a little later, so you're not going to really get probably nothing great. But Spurs have great scouts. I don't know too much about the Kings, but this is basically what the Kings are getting. But 3 second-round picks, the 2025 Chicago pick, the 2028 Denver pick, and the 2028 own pick back is what they're getting. So I like what I have seen for the Kings. They package is really, really good. And the Chicago Bulls will acquire Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Herter, and their own 2025 pick back from the Spurs. They're rebuilding. They got some good young talent like Josh Giddey, Matas Buzelis. He's athletic. He's showing potential as a scorer. He still has a lot of more game in him to see what he's going to really be. You got Kobe White, who's a good player. And you got to see what you can get for Vucevic because he's getting a little too old. You kind of got to cash in on that while you still can. And I think you got to do the same thing with Kevin Huerter. He's not a bad player, but you're not really trying to win at this point because you already got rid of your best player last year in DeMar DeRozan. And if you thought Zach LaVine was better than him, he's going to now. The Spurs will also acquire Jordan McLaughlin. He's a solid vet, along with Fox. The Kings began listening to trade offers on Fox this week as it became clear he did not intend to sign a long-term extension with the franchise this offseason. The Spurs were Fox's preferred destination as he will now team up with Victor Wembanyama. There's no way, and I always told people, if you get one superstar, it usually attract another great player. You get Blake Griffin, you get Chris Paul, you get Kyrie, you get Kevin Love and LeBron. If you prove that you can play and the players respect you and you're dominating the game or close to dominating the game, guys would not hesitate to play with you. And once they drafted Victor Wembanyama, that was a gold mine. The people want to see him play. The team is going to be better because of him because he makes teammates better that's around him. And other guys will say, I want to play with that guy because it can be fun. And that's what Fox saying. This is my home state. I'm already one of the best guards in the league. I see that they need a guy for the future. I'm young enough to play for Wemby. I'm good enough. I already play with big men that's good already. I already know how to dominate the game at the NBA level. And I think that I can help him get better. He can help me get better. We can grow and learn with each other. And they already have a solid roster around Victor already. And they have shooters a little bit. And they do have a guy that can help him out by being a good cover for him defensively. And even Chris Paul, who has aged, he probably would even like this trade for De'Aaron Fox because it just adds a better aspect to the team that can possibly help him get a ring. We don't really know how good this team is going to be until we actually see them play together at the end of the day. The Kings did pivot away from the Fox, basically reuniting him with DeMar DeRozan. Like I said before, and LaVine is still owed $46 million next year, and he holds a $49 million player option in 26-27 season. You got to mention that because he's still in his 20s, so he can be a guy that you can try to show that we want you here as long as we can have you. And Zach LaVine has been a great professional. He has played very well this season. He has been an all-star before in his career, just like De'Aaron Fox. So you're not really going that much in the downgrade if you're a Kings fan. And sometimes they told me, like, Quinn, some teams just want to be competitive. Not every team wants to win a championship. Every team is not trying to win a championship. Some teams just want to root for their team and see how good they can be and how far they can take it, even in the playoffs, even in the regular season. And I think that Zach LaVine can give them some hope after losing Fox. I think that is going to be a little blind to a person like me, but you can still hear me, and that's just as good sometimes. The first round pick originating from the Hornets is a lottery protected pick this year, and then converts to a second rounders in 2026 and 2027. Minnesota pick is in 2023 is unprotected. Those are things that people need to know about those picks. But the Kings, I think they did good. This is a good haul for a guy like De'Aaron Fox that made it clear that this team is not in my future. I don't see myself playing for this team. I don't think they're doing enough for us to win. And I don't think that we're going to be good enough to win a championship because we're struggling to even make the play-in tournament. I don't really feel that way about Victor Wembanyama because I can help them get to where they're trying to go, and I can help them take their game to another level. I do want to know who's going to be that third guy for the Spurs. Will it be Devin Vassell? Will it be Keldon Johnson because he's still going to be on the roster too? Will it be Stephon Castle? I really want to see who's going to develop because we know who's the point guard. We know who's the center. They have some good fill-in players already to give you the architect of how you should build around Wemby, which is they still trying to figure out as they play out this season. That's why they got Chris Paul and those guys. What type of point guard does he need? What type of shooters do we need? What type of scorers do we need? What type of defender archetype that he needs to help us get that championship in San Antonio again? But they have a long time to figure this stuff out with Wemby. As long as he's healthy, you have a chance to do something special. That's the way they have to think about it. That's the way they have to go about it when they're making decisions. But it's not a surprise. The Spurs knew exactly when to tank. They knew exactly how to get good. They got LaMarcus Aldridge before. They got Tim Duncan. They got David Robinson. They got Tony Parker and develop him and Ginobili into roles. And they have been able to be hard on players to get the best out of them because they love the game of basketball and they want to see their players succeed. And we even seen DeJounte Murray become a great defender and an all-star too. So they have shown that they can get the best out of their players, and they have shown that they can very well be good at scouting and drafting players. So once they figure out what's really working with Victor Wembanyama, once they find a way to get the players to put around him eventually for the long term too, they can be on the run. This is something scary that the Spurs are doing. And some people say, I don't even know what they're going to really give up for Fox. And they didn't give up much. I'm not trying to disrespect those players, but they're core players that they have been getting the most damage to opponents to still on his roster. And that's the crazy part. They didn't have to give up really nobody that's key to their success this season. And you even kept Jeremy. I thought Jeremy or Devin or somebody would have to be gone on this roster, but they kept everybody. And I think it's a smart move. Like, why get worse? Why change things up? Why fix things when you can just add a guy and let him figure things out with the rest of the guys, raise the ceiling of this team, raise the ending of how this team can be. And now they should be a playoff team by the end of this year. If they're not a 6, 7, or 8 team with De'Aaron Fox, I would be shocked. Because if he can do that with the Kings, he should be doing it easier with the Spurs. I just think it's going to be a good fit in general because if Chris Paul scored more and he was attacking more, I think that would just open things up and make it a lot easier on Victor Wembanyama. Because the alley-oops, the layups, the open shots would just be there more often. And we've seen that with Sabonis. He's even taken threes, and he's been okay from there. And he was able to fit with all these hybrid type of players and still get his number. So Fox is probably going to be the ceiling raiser on this team outside of the potential of Victor Wembanyama still figuring things out and just becoming a player just by playing more and learning more. And he's willing to learn too. So they got the right two guys to pair with each other. Now they just got to get that third guy, and it could be a wrap for the rest of the NBA because, you know, these are some really good players that they have on this roster. And it's just crazy that they didn't really give up really much to be able to get an all-star talented player. Man, it's crazy. The Spurs have really pulled off a heist. I think this is a heist. Looking at the picks, you don't really care when you have the depth that the Spurs have already on their roster. Some of the people that's on the Spurs bench could be starters in other places. That's how deep this team has been. And you didn't give up none of that. You gave up a bunch of guys that wasn't really playing that much anyway. And a bunch of picks that you don't really care about because these guys got another 10 years in them. Even if you got rid of a couple of them, you can consolidate and still have a lot of talent that's young and has potential and has, you know, different things that they can do on both ends of the court. So the Spurs, they won this trade. The Kings, they still in the same type of role, still the same type of position. After they made this trade, I don't think Zach LaVine make them worse. I don't think he makes them better. I think he keeps them right where they're at, and that's what they're going to be happy about in Sacramento because they already got the Lakers and other teams like that they can cheer for anyway. And even the Bulls, I think that they didn't really do anything stupid. They got rid of a guy that they have to cash in on, and they got a bunch of guys that can fill a role until they're off the roster, and then you get a good pick back that you can just use in a draft, because now that Zach LaVine is gone and Vucevic is probably going to be the next one gone too, even if it's in the off season, you just look at it like we just going to rebuild and figure everything else out and go as young as we can and just look at what we have and just evaluate that each and every season. And that's how it should be. But I like it. I like it. Got the cosign from me. The Spurs won this one. They got the best. They got the best player in the deal in Fox. They got a guy that can really raise the ceiling of the Spurs. But I don't think the Kings got robbed in this one. Zach LaVine has been very respected and been talked about as a player that should be a priority for other teams to trade for. And now he's gone, and he's going to a good team. And it's just sad that every time Zach LaVine gets traded, he doesn't really go to a contender. He's good enough and smart enough to play a role and be good at a role and willingly able to do it, but he just don't go to the teams that actually can help him get it done. And it would be funny if they could have actually traded for Zach LaVine too. And put him with Fox in Victor Wembanyama. That would have been hilarious if they would have did it that way. But I know the contracts and stuff like that. I'm just saying, like, the Spurs got so many players that even if they try to go for a little bit of an upgrade, it just makes them even more dangerous. But I do want to see how this roster is constructed within the next 2 years around Wemby, because they're already doing a good job of finding players that want to play with him and experience that. And that's going to be the thing that has that gravity to pull more people to want to help win in San Antonio again, like they have done for so many decades in the 2000s and the 90s and the 2010s. And now it's the Wemby era in San Antonio in the 2020s. They got their guy. They got their pillars now with Fox. Now they just got to get him to sign an extension and sign away his loyalty, basically. And that's all they need to do now. Comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for more analysis. And if you're new to the channel, I do conversation videos just like this in different varieties. Also do breakdowns for real footage of legends, current legends, rookies, future stars, mock drafts, and draft coverage in general. And I have over 3,000 videos already turned in on my channel. So if you want to check out those to see what I do or the content that I make, is already there for you guys that want to possibly be subscribers. And I also got my social medias and my email address if you want to contact me for collaborations or even just get to know me a little bit better or see some other things that I do outside of basketball, as this is an NBA only channel. And thanks for putting me in your rotation. Thanks for continue to support the channel. Thanks for continuing to come back to see what I have to say and see what I want to do, which is sometimes breakdowns. As you guys know, that's more of a watching thing than a listening thing. But I'm just showing y'all I got so many things to offer y'all, so many things to show y'all. And I got more this month and hopefully for the rest of the year. So let's continue to make this a great year. We off to a great start. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. Thanks for appreciating my content for what it is. I try hard. I'm trying to give y'all as much videos as I can. I'm already at 8 videos today. I've been making videos since the morning time. And I got more still coming out on Sunday, which is still today. So, man, I've been really going in as much as I can. And y'all been doing a good job supporting the channel, like I said before. Let's make 2025 better than 2015. That was a good year for me. Really was good for this channel. Really helped me establish a fan base. Really wanted to show what I can offer, and fans loved it for what it is. And this channel just been able to continue that for 10 plus years. So let's continue to do it this year. Like I said before, I'm going for now. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all continue to get y'all rest, have a little leisure as the work days are almost here again. And other than that, the NBA is getting competitive. The season of one trying to tank or wanting to win a little bit more is going on right now because of the buyout season and the trade deadline season. You know, we got to stay up a little bit for that reason. Other than that, it's a fun period of time to see who really wants to win and who doesn't. That's the game they're playing right now. And now we've seen another star get traded. Well, 2 stars, because Zach LaVine is one too. So we've seen 2 more stars get moved before the deadline even happens. And these are major moves for the Western Conference, just like earlier today with the Luka Doncic, and the other star that was traded was Karl Anthony Towns. So these guys in the West ain't safe. Even if they putting up numbers and being productive, they all got to go. It looks like in the NBA. Nobody expected Luka especially to be gone. And that's something that's reality. So anybody's replaceable, anybody's expendable. I guess that's something that we learn in business. I gotta spend it a whole lot of times throughout my life, and I just laugh at some of those reasons, some of those things now. But see y'all later. Enjoy your day.